We never give a thought to anything we see, what we click on or watch on our TV. But they're in there, out there, dying to be free. Stick a needle, make a disease, 'cause Rome is burning, the Colosseum's falling down. Rome is burning, and I can see it all around. Rome is burning, blood sports coming to your town.
Like cities all across America, Salem, Oregon has a growing population of homeless people. Their most basic needs include restroom facilities, and in this area, Salem is very behind. Issues involving homeless people are not new here. In the 1800s, in order to become the state capital, Salem had to agree to be the primary site for state prisons and mental institutions. People have been released from institutions onto Salem city streets for a very long time. But the problem spiked after money for mental health programs was cut during the 1980s. Places like the Fairview Training Center and other facilities for disabled people in Salem were closed down. Salem does not provide a place for non-sheltered people to camp and live. Instead, police routinely route, sweep, or purge people from various camping sites. Many are in West Salem. Each time this happens, dazed homeless people flee into Salem's downtown, where minimal services exist to meet their critical needs. Public restrooms are often locked. Businesses prevent homeless people from using their restrooms, so alleys, business alcoves, and bushes became clogged with human waste. 5 local women from Salem's art and business, faith, and homeless services communities joined forces to help install 7 art-decorated porta potties known as Arta Potties in Salem's downtown 7 core blocks. This is their story. Those who question why Salem has so many homeless people need only to look at the dramatic reductions in spending for our disabled community. Another reason for the continually growing homeless population is that those released from prison and jail in Salem are frequently placed on probation and restricted from leaving the local area. Another reason? Take a look at the housing ads just once in the local newspaper. In fact, very few homes are an option for people in our homeless community at all. Neither, for that matter, are jobs. So they have to stay, yet they have no place to be. Some members of that homeless community turn to local facilities like the Union Gospel Mission. Yet that requires participants to subscribe to a particular set of religious beliefs, which isn't for everybody. Within this scenario, a distinct lack of toilet facilities for people without homes, underscoring the value of a local effort to install decorated porta potties known as Artapotties. One man who has seen the dark side of homelessness describes what happened to unsheltered women who attempted to relieve themselves in public.
There's 3 women that got raped. 2 of them got beat up really badly and drugged and pulled into bushes. They're gone. Nobody knows where they are. The other one got beat up and was raped, went to the hospital, tried to identify the people that they were. The police said, well, you should have been there in the first place. And that's why there's no potties, there's nothing for any women, especially women and children that are homeless in this town, have nowhere to go.
Well, you got to go to the bathroom somewhere, don't you? And if you don't have a bathroom, what can you do? You got to go, you got to go.
Well, there's no place for them to go. It's going to cost them. The cops are going to catch them, and that's going to be the final end to it.
If I could do anything about it, you'd have my full support, you know? I mean, sometimes you just got to go.
You know, you look like you have maybe more trouble walking around than other people. Is the whole bathroom thing an even bigger problem for a person who's in a wheelchair?
I would say so.
You know, my office faces the alley here between our church and our neighbor church, St. Mark, and it's a really popular alley for folks to come and use the bathroom. And I used to knock on the window and say, hey, I'm right here, I can see you. I don't knock anymore because there's nowhere for them to go.
And because there are no public toilets in this area, and there are some that get locked, you know, overnight, people had no choice. but to defecate and urinate in public. And unfortunately, that causes problems for us because our custodian or somebody has to clean it up, and we have kids that play out here, and obviously it's a health risk.
It's a real problem, isn't it? I mean, it goes far beyond the fact that they don't have a place.
Occasionally you can clean up something and people have accidents or can't make it to the bathroom, but on a daily basis it's a chronic situation.
And the health hazard that brings, it's wide-ranging, isn't it? It's not just their health.
It's treated like a bloodborne pathogen. It's a bodily fluid. And you have to get people who know how to glove up and put their glasses on and get their plastic protector, the barriers on. It's dangerous. It's a fluid, and you don't know what kind of diseases people are carrying or whatever.
It's a real partnership thing.
Cost again?
I'm guessing about $250.
Okay.
The collective energies of the 5 women hailing from the art and business, faith and homeless services communities would have a larger impact than expected.
Population of people that don't have access to toilets, not to give them the dignity of having just a porta potty at the very, very least, to be able to take care of that business and do it in a way that's hygienic for our whole community. It doesn't even make any sense. So I don't understand why it hasn't happened so far. And so since our government hasn't yet made it happen, there's coalition that's coming together of some people in the business and the arts and the faith communities to say, let's take it on, let's make it happen, because I do think it's a human dignity issue.
Yeah, there comes a time in all of our lives that you're just called to action, and I think that 5 women, we've come together with all different walks of life, but we kind of completed each other's sentences in our reality of what we were seeing, and so we're just joining forces, and the public has been enormously responsive, all the way from Calgary, Canada to Eugene, Oregon, wants to know how we're doing this and why we're getting such a great public response.
She has been looking out for downtown Salem for 11 years now, and she noticed kind of an uptake in some of the hygienic problems that were happening in our alleys and other places around downtown. And she decided to do something about it. And she's kind of a one-woman potty gang with 5 allies now.
And we were just talking about the fact that to cure this problem, isn't that costly? I mean, it's something that the community seems pretty...
No, it isn't. And we're trying to get some of our neighbors to help us sustain the pot on our property if they will help us do so.
And I certainly hear from both community and business owners that a lot of support for this project. Are you hearing the same thing?
I'm seeing a wave happening now. They suddenly realize that nothing had been done about it, and you can't necessarily rely on government to do it. So there's a lot of altruistic people in this world, and a lot of them are nearby.
It's great that there are members of the community that will come together and figure out a way to do it, but it's also a shame that the city hasn't been more forthcoming in providing this solution, because there's so many of these sort of low-hanging fruits around cleaning up Salem that often seem to get neglected in favor of these giant projects. It's disappointing. It's disappointing to not be able to have a crew keeping the streets clean, or to be able to address the parking, or to be able to address the bathroom issue, and the justification be that we have to spend $25 million on putting up a new fill in the blank.
Then came the first round of potties. The first was installed at the First Congregational Church in Salem.
It's the most beautiful potty I've ever seen.
This one didn't have art yet. It was referred to as a naked potty, sending home the point that the job was getting done but still incomplete.
Oh my goodness, look at this wardrobe.
Shortly after that, the naked potty was delivered at the Reed Opera House.
mean, there's been times where I've been using this alleyway, as well as other artists, to sell their wares, to perform, to sell food. And if you're going to be providing those sort of things, then, hey, this is, whether it's going to be outside or in, you need to be able to provide certain amenities, toilets.
They're trying to establish up to 7 porta potties throughout the downtown area. Do you ever hear people from the houseless community talk about a lack of places to go take care of themselves that way?
All the time. There's definitely a need. The city definitely needs to step it up.
I don't think I would ever want to be in any kind of situation where I needed to go to the restroom and I couldn't.
Because if there isn't a place for people to use the facilities, they're using the bushes and stuff. We've seen it ourselves over the last few years, and it creates a lot of problems for the homeless people.
And like he said, it's not fair for them to have to defecate on the property of a church premises.
You know, they get asked to leave, they get thrown out of where they've been camping, but there's nothing where. Okay, so where do they go? Well, the only choice they have, because they're homeless, is to sit there and try to find another place to hide until they get tagged again.
I've been working with the homeless now, whether it's adults or youth, for 15 years. And what you forget is that with that kind of loss comes a lot of trauma and a lot of grief. And as you say, they have lost a lot. We forget that most of these people were folks who were just like you and I. They had their homes, their families, their lives, their work, a sense of purpose. And for whatever reason, circumstance eliminated all those things.
Even with a 24-hour notice, of course, they don't have cars. A lot of them don't have phones. They don't have, thank God that there's shopping carts available to many of these places, because that's really the only thing they have, is to run to a Winco or wherever it is and get a shopping cart and come back and put what they can in it.
One section of property where people camped was privately owned.
We'll get out of this camp.
The city pressured the property owner until they eventually agreed to add trespassing signs. Now that property is no longer an option, and it was one of the few.
They gave the cops permission to start the legal actions, to start trespassing everybody on the quarry property part. And then the park side, they already trespass people off of. Everybody out here is getting ready to go out to Candy. It's very stressful.
They leave with nothing, you know, and only to have to go back out, go into Salem and try to go back out and one by one collect the sleeping bag, the tent, and everything that they need to try to survive. And it's very, to say the least, they become very almost disoriented. They don't really know where to go. They're very lost.
A little depressing right now out here. Some people are really on edge, saying something, getting everybody else worked up, saying that this is going to happen and this is going to happen before it's even happening. And it's really working everybody up out here.
It's a chronic situation across America, and homeless people have nowhere to go to the bathroom, have nowhere to live, unless their cities are dealing with that reality. You're going to be walking through feces in downtown urban cores. In the size of Salem that we are, we're talking about a 7-block radius, not an 80-block or 100-block like Miami or New York or San Francisco.
In fact, the problem of public defecation and urination is rampant all across the United States. But Rebecca Courtney and the other Arta Potty advocates say Salem is different because its 7 downtown city blocks can actually be managed, unlike cities with larger populations and downtown areas.
We got to get public restrooms. We got to get spaces where we say, welcome, come be here. And until we do that, we got to get porta potties. We got to get spaces where people can close the door, have a little dignity and a little privacy.
Most people trying to do everything right, and a couple of people.
Yeah. And so we've done our part in trying to get the places cleaned back up. But they're not seeing it.
I couldn't believe this was happening to my brothers and sisters, you know, of Salem, that there was nothing that I could lead them to that would be a place that they could go to try to regroup, that it was all being done in a panic.
I rang the bell, but no comers yet.
But I've heard, I hear some people back in.
Do you believe it's true that a lot of people are literally one paycheck away? I mean, from
I
that.
know it's true. And people don't forget what they've lost. And every time they see us or the people who are walking, going to their jobs or getting a cup of coffee, they're reminded of what they've lost. So it's that constant re-traumatization of knowing how far they've fallen.
I think as a community we've realized enough is enough. I think as a community we've realized it's time. Whether or not somebody else should be doing it, nobody is. And I think that the people of Salem, the business owners, the church pastors, the neighbors, the people who shop, the community here has realized we're not being a community well if the weakest among us are not having places to go to the bathroom, not having places to take showers, not having safe places to sleep at night.
Midway through the process, the Artapotties 5 took their needs to the Salem City Council, hoping to find support from local government.
That having facilities in the downtown core would contribute to increased opportunity and vibrancy of our historic downtown. Tonight we are proposing a solution. We propose locating 7 porta potties, Arta Potties as we're affectionately calling them, strategically in a 7-block radius of the downtown core. These potties could be wrapped in art, making them both functional and artistic. We're asking for the city to partner with us to provide safe, clean, and artistic places for people to toilet themselves, rather than using alleys or bushes when nature calls.
What do you think of the notion of having these decorated with art?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Get people out there, get a message across.
It's good for the soul to see something beautiful and not run down in trash.
Because we have lots of choices.
Okay, cool.
What we're looking for, you guys, is something really long and linear and super poppy color.
Okay, we can do that. So, how about that one right there?
It's perfect.
It's vertical, we have
would
color.
completely work. French artist.
This.
Yeah, let's take it outside.
I think that outside is the best light we'll have. I don't like the light in here, so let's take it outside.
That'll work.
Sounds good. To the alley we go. Here, just prop it up against the wall, right? That, perfect. Yep. All right.
This is totally gonna work. I'm excited.
Awesome. This is gonna work great.
The image, recorded by local photographer Diane Beale, a historic French painting provided by the Roger Yost Gallery, was then put into Photoshop and trimmed and adjusted. It was then sent to local graphic artist Adam Navarro, who was preparing for the first Artapottie wrap installation.
I am super excited to be a part of it and see if I can't bring anything to the table and help out. What's going to happen is that the printer will read from the computer, they'll talk to each other, and then we should start getting a print. Such a neat idea, and it's different, it's unique, but not only that, it brings just a great vibe to our downtown scene. So people in the community trying to do something nice, trying to do something great, and bring a little flair to our community, to our town. It's a fantastic group of people. They're super driven, super passionate, which is something I love. I love that they're just trying to get involved. They're trying to help, and they're trying to do it in a unique, fun way.
Hey, hey. So you must have to have a really good surface to work with. I mean, it goes without saying.
It just definitely has to be clean. Yeah, if it's dirty, like the dust, that stuff sits underneath the vinyl, and then it just doesn't, it would stick on there, but it just doesn't adhere as well.
It's so photogenic in your shot.
Oh yeah. Didn't want the hinges to be right on the middle of her face, but I knew it was going to be close.
Really beautiful look using a wrap on something like this.
Yeah, you know, the wrap world, that whole industry is very unique. It brings a lot of style. You can really dress something up, and just about any kind of surface, you know, is what it can go on. So you can really take something that looks average or just, you know, is kind of somewhat of an eyesore and turn it into something much, much more. Again, I'm just super excited about the project. I love the fact that it's very unique, it's different, and I hope people start talking more about our downtown Salem.
It really has a tendency to want to lay down there, doesn't it?
Yeah, in this area, and it's going to, because it's you know, it's got a slight curve to it, but it's fairly flat.
So you've got to kind of follow every line that's there, it looks like.
For the most part.
So what are you thinking at this point? Are you getting more confident that it's going to turn out?
Oh yeah, like I said, so far I've done kind of the easy parts, but starting to, you know, get to just taking a closer look at the hinges area, you know, where the hinges are. You know, we have a indent in the porta potty is right in here, so looking at how I'm going to, you know, place the vinyl in there. This is the handle area, so working the vinyl down into this deep pocket and then back up and then back down. So definitely, and then around the door, but so yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see how it all works.
Could you see it catching on in other places?
I sure could. You know, it's something, a porta potty is something that's in so many different places, and you know, everybody knows what it's used for. Everybody knows what they look like. They're not super attractive. You know, it takes a lot of work to do something like this, but you know, I think the payoff would be nice.
When there wasn't a porta potty here, what were you seeing here in the alley?
Well, it was much messier, and you would always come across, you know, some excrement that, you know, people need a place to relieve themselves. And our alley is much cleaner now, so it's been very nice. And in the morning, there's always a line to use it, and it's just nice to know that people have someplace that they can go.
What a difference! Yeah.
Think it looks inviting?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. There's been so much work and a lot of people vision together, and Adam just completed this fantastic vision.
It turned out amazing.
Yeah, no, this is my first porta potty wrap, so hopefully I can do more with the Arta Potty group.
Lots of messages, but one message is that you know, the community is for all of us, and art is for all of us.
When people stop and aren't just rocking out about a potty, you know you're onto something good, and it's unbelievable.
Turned out better than you even hoped?
Way better. I know. I just want to get a chair and camp out, celebrate.
What was your total time putting it up?
2.5 hours.
Okay. About what you expected?
Yeah, yep, right about there.
The people who are in this area, homeless or not, it adds more dignity and beauty to the area, and it certainly makes us feel like we are welcome to walk through here without, you know, thinking that we're just walking down an alley. Now it's a place of art.
There's nothing worse than having to go behind, you know, a garbage can or something like that. So you're giving folks their self-respect.
You know, we're ready to have parties, and by the way, you know, music and artistic events and alleys decrease crime because everyone is creative and artistic, and so having resources printed on the side of the potty, that's another goal. We have that designed so that you can get to where you need to go.
I've been redeemed, no blood on my hands. I heard the lamb scream, but took the party to slaughter. Tell me who witnessed the slaughter.
So what do you think seeing something like this?
I think it's good.
Allows people a place to go and kind of not have to, you know, take a risk with the police or whatever by using a public place to go to the bathroom?
Well, because they're not open to the public.
How hard is it to find a bathroom normally
Real
in
hard.
Salem? So what do you think of the art on it? Does that...
That's neat.
Surprise you?
Oh yeah, a little. I thought it was neat.
That is so cool. What is your...
I used it a little earlier.
Did you?
Yeah.
So would you say it's making a difference in your life and the lives of other people?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
because I have something I can remember that I can, where I can go instead of having to run in here, because I have to be in town here.
No blood on my hands, I heard the lamb scream, but took no part in the slaughter. I don't know who did the slaughter.
Thank you for your special project over here. I'm so grateful. I give thanks every time I come down this alley, and I even wrote a song about our desolation sometimes, because it says, what's a homeless man supposed to do when he's gotta find a loo? I don't want to be crass, I don't want to be mean, I don't need to make a scene, please let me use your latrine. God bless you, thank you for keeping it clean.
And many, many months later, how does it feel to stand here and know that it's had this success and the program is indeed growing?
Very gratifying. It's something that's so sensible. It's a human need that can't be denied. It's always there 24 hours a day. It serves to avert a public health hazard in the downtown area. It makes perfect sense to me. It all makes sense. It's just good, all good.
The love that you really care about. Have you ever had a dream that won't come true? Seems the heavens don't hear me calling. Have you ever had a love, a love, a love, a love, a love? Love comes to those who want love. Love comes to those who give love.
And knowing that the cost has been fairly minimal and it's more time and creativity than money to put up the Artapotty project, can you just talk about the success of that as you've seen it through your clients?
Oh my gosh, the feedback that I get from my, not just clients, but also friends. I have friends that are homeless also, and the feedback that I get is wonderful. They're so happy to feel like they belong to a community, and having people reach out and provide clean restrooms for them to use. And some of the restrooms are really cute. They have little plants around them and they're decorated really nice, and having the art on them so they don't just look like, you know, a construction john and that sort of thing. It's very inclusive, it's very including and demarginalizing. So having that available and knowing people care enough about them to provide that helps them to feel a part of community.
It's one step closer to recognizing people's basic humanity. We can all agree that this is something that everybody needs to do every day.
We're trying to do something really constructive here, but we can't do it alone.
We've got gallons of human waste that are going where they should. We've got a more livable city.
So, building on that, what else do we need? So we can start moving forward in recognizing that bathroom today, an apartment tomorrow.